I think the one thing that we need to remember as hoteliers is that we, as a sort of overheading of this current situation, we can't remove risks. We can only reduce risks. Okay, and we are ultimately not responsible for anybody's health apart from really the ones of our employees, effectively. So I think this sort of there's been a lot of knee-jerk reactions out there to sort of panic. We need to get, obviously key business is here to get bums back into beds, and that's where the focus should lie. But so how do we build the trust with the guests coming back?
When you knee-jerk reactions, what sorts of things have we seen?
Well, sort of things, like staff needing to change their rubber gloves every couple of rooms that they've cleaned, having sort of guests use gloves at breakfast buffets, plastic gloves, the throwaway masks everywhere. It's sort of, do we really need to create more waste through this, or can we be sort of sensible and pragmatic about how we go about this approach of reopening and being sure that we have all the right health and safety measures in place without totally, overdoing it on the waste and the single-use produce again. I think in particular there's been acceleration in the last 12 months more than anything. The 4 years before that were very slow and sluggish, and people kept saying, yeah, maybe nice to have, but not really. So I think the last 12 months with, children across Europe taking to the streets to demonstrate for the climate, and that frustration of the younger generation that we are taking away their future has really come up big within companies now. And I think we've seen a lot of investors being very keen on investing in what they call ESG funds, which is environmental social governance funds. So a lot of hotels that are owned by funds are finding the pressure coming from the investor. And those investors are also travelers, let's face it. So if you're investing in something that is orientated to ESG, you will also want to stay at something that is doing that. So, and the pressure has come from that side of the market, which is really interesting, because we always thought, it'll be the operators that want to operate responsibly, because effectively it enhances your brand or your offering, or as you say, it offers that sort of opportunity to guests.
You hear my dogs barking?
No.
I think the postman's just come.
That's always an opportune moment.
Sorry, carry on.
No, that's okay. So I think there's been a real shift, just especially over the last 12 months. And there's been a lot more being offered, a lot more being taken serious, a lot more being communicated. So, and I don't think it's anything that any business of the future can close their ears, their eyes, or their doors to. I think those businesses that were dedicated to sustainability before have looked for the solutions that will fit within that remit of sustainability and COVID. So you can clean with products that are not harmful for the environment, but they will kill the bacteria, which are basically alcohol-based products. And you can clean with those endlessly, and they will not cause damage to the environment. You can use masks that are made of cotton, or that are not single-use products. Again, if you've already moved over to the big bathroom spenders, you're not going to step away from those, because you're going to clean them anyway. And in the bathroom environment, in the wet environment, the bacteria or the virus does not get passed on. It's more in the dry and through the breath. So, again, I think those businesses that have already been dedicated, they will stay to it. Those that don't know anything about it, yes, potentially they will have the knee-jerk reaction of saying, single-use plastics here, there, and everywhere. But then they weren't serious about it in the first place. And I think that will have a huge, massive backlash. Not very thought through idea, is it?
No.
Quite frankly, it's going to cost you more. And what's more hygienic about it? So if you're cleaning a bathroom, why can't you clean as you're cleaning the bottles that you have in the spenders and the big amenity spenders? Or you're going to throw, I mean, the effort or the hygiene behind it just doesn't make any sense. And I think that's why I'm saying the knee-jerk reaction. I mean, I think as an industry, potentially somebody like the Institute of Hospitality or any of the trade associations should really get good scientific advice that they can then dispense to the hotels and the hoteliers. Because if you're a standalone hotelier, how the hell are you supposed to know, right? So get together with whoever, in whatever association you are, use that association and get some medical advice that can potentially give, the hoteliers the right kind of advice that are applicable to our operations. I mean, big hotel companies like Iber or Star, they did that. They got a medical advisory board together. You can have a look at their website. It's quite interesting, I think. And they're taking scientific advice on which to base their 300 new measures that they've taken. This is also some of the governments that have fared best within COVID are those governments, and I'm sad to say, or I'm proud to say, mainly run by women, have taken advice of scientists. You look at New Zealand, you look at Germany, you look at Denmark, you look at Norway. They've taken scientific advice and then they have acted upon that. Why can't we do that in the hotel sector? I think, again, yes, you need to up the cleaning, that's clear, and you need to up the, the hand sanitizers around the hotel, the protective shields. They've put those in place here everywhere. Obviously, you might, if you don't have enough distance between the tables, you need to provide that and think out of the box. Where can you potentially, if you're a country house hotel, find new areas for dining that weren't there before? So you've got the same amount of tables, but maybe dispersed in different spaces. So again, it's thinking out of the box rather than saying, I'm going to start using products that are harmful just because it makes my guests safe. I think the interesting thing, again, yesterday I had a chat with this lady from Iber Star, and she said they did a research that about 60 to 70% was all about it's psychological, about how guests feel safe. So I think really important, communicate with your guests as much as you possibly can and say, these are the measures we're taking. This is the stuff we're doing. We are being totally transparent on it. If you feel we're not doing enough, we can provide you more health and safety measures by doing this, or you can, potentially opt for more. So again, giving the guests also the feel that they're participating in this. And the other thing I'm seeing, which is quite interesting, is obviously this is governments and countries sort of request and airlines requesting people to take tests before they fly. So maybe we can ask our guests to do the same. Say, if you've flown here and you've taken a test, would you mind sharing it with us? Because we're keeping our, potentially we're testing our staff. So potentially if you have a test that you've taken, so that protects all of us. We're all in this together. Yeah, no, potentially, yes. And I don't know whether they've asked their consumer what they really want, or their guests. I think if you again, I read the daily newsletters coming from the Financial Times or the Guardian or Bloomberg or New York Times, and everybody is talking about the environment and climate and ESG, and it's all related with COVID, let's face it. So if you're overdoing it and you're stepping back on your sustainability efforts, again, that's a knee-jerk reaction. You're not thinking about future-proofing your business. Every crisis should be an opportunity to sort of reestablish yourself, shouldn't it? I think, what's the last crisis that probably you and I remember is 9/11, more than 2008 from my perspective anyway, but 9/11 was such a disruptor, that we took all these measures for safety reasons, and that's why we've ended up with all those small bathroom bottles, because of travel, and you weren't allowed to travel with big things. So was that a good thing? We now all know it's no longer necessary to have these small bottles when you're doing the safety, because they've got all the machinery and the technology to check us anyway. So let's think, what does the guest in 5 years' time want? Not only the one that needs to return tomorrow, but what is the guest of 5 years from now? What is important to them? And the climate change is not going away. I think there's, a lot around supply chains. We've seen how dependent we are, and again, if we've got to try and find some form of positive takeaway from Brexit potentially is what are the local supply chains we can start building on stronger, so we're not reliant on the massive disruption if something like this happens again. So how can we strengthen our local economies and our local production lines, and maybe again reaching out to hotels around you, other hotel businesses, hospitality businesses, to say how can we strengthen our suppliers together in our region, in our economy, because they will also be interested in looking after our environment that we operate in. So I think the opportunity there is really relooking at our supply chains and finding those suppliers that can deliver some really good produce or supplies or products to your hotel that are sustainably produced within your regional local environment. We do work with hospitality businesses of all sizes and across various borders and in regions around the world. So we try and provide solutions for everyone, small and big. So we do things like we do webinars, we have toolkits that people can purchase with us on topics around plastic waste or food waste, or how to reduce your energy consumption, because obviously energy is one of the biggest costs that we have within a hotel. So that can be a huge and very easy low-hanging fruit to save you some money badly needed in this situation. So yeah, we try and provide sort of solutions that can be used by many hotels and operators across the board. And then from a bigger perspective, we work with bigger companies and do their whole sustainability strategy. We do a lot of UN Global Compact reporting. We integrate the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We do carbon reporting. So it's really sort of a 360-degree approach to sustainability for the hospitality sector. We're also in the throes of developing an app, which is really interesting for hotel businesses and hospitality, so also restaurants around the UK, because it'll be an energy saving app, easy to use, so you can see your live consumption, fun to use. So that we're launching towards the end of this year. Again, a very easy solution, because what we're trying to do is always just give people things that they can apply quickly, easily, without a major headache, and that will produce results. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. I don't think that's true at all. On the contrary, again, if you run a hotel efficiently, you're saving costs, aren't you? So running a hotel efficiently is also saving resources. So you're saving on waste, you're saving on energy, as I mentioned before, on water. You can reuse a lot of items, so then you don't have to repurchase stuff. So again, I mean, it's good old housekeeping actually is running a hotel on a solid budget and hopefully saving you money if you're doing it properly. So it doesn't necessarily have to cost you much more. And then if you do need to make investments, first you try and make those savings, and out of those savings you then go into investment if you need to, I don't know, for biogas boilers or whatever it is you need to invest on the capex side. First you try and make those savings. Yeah, and also you've got to think that actually the banks or the lenders out there, or the companies that potentially want to invest in you, or if you do need to go for funding, they will fund things that have got green technology in it, or a green aspect to it, with much more preferable rates effectively than if not. So at the end of the day, financially, there's a win-win there for all people. And what I'd like to add is, don't start marketing green stuff if you haven't done it, because then you're greenwashing. We're doing a webinar next Wednesday, 1st of July at 2 p.m. UK time on hygiene and sustainability. So we've got some solutions and ideas, and we're trying to dive into it a little bit more.